Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out a very cool psychedelic little kind of arcade game, pretty simple one in fact, called Into the Box by developer Kea Bros. And the concept here is essentially we're going to be looking into sort of like an optical illusion where we're going to be heading straight down towards a number of rectangles, and we want to be able to pick as quickly as possible which one of these rectangles we want to then embody, and then have the illusion or the recurrence continue down infinitely on a regression. So I know that sounds like complete nonsense, but you'll see in just a moment it actually makes quite a bit of sense and it's very easy to follow. I would liken the gameplay here to something maybe a little bit on the line of something like Super Hexagon, so if you're familiar with a lot of those very twitchy-based games, this is similar to that, and also quite psychedelic and maybe has a little bit in the way of flashing lights, and I might give a minor epilepsy warning here, although maybe this isn't quite as bad with the flashing as many of the other games I've played. I just want to put that up front that it might be an issue for some people. So let's look at the options menus real quick before we get started. There are control settings for tilt, swipe, and joystick. I have only used tilt so far, and as far as I know, all I've been doing is just using the mouse to point in various directions, so I'm not quite sure how these change, but I feel like what we've got right now is pretty much the optimal control configuration. We can invert things if we want, I suppose, and there's a show score option in case you want to have like the full screen experience, which I probably recommend, but the score is not all that distracting anyway. So then there's some unlockables. We've got bonus rings. You get additional score for each ring you go through. Right now I only have the first one unlocked. I've been leaving it on that, although I'm not sure exactly how that all works yet. I'm looking forward to possibly unlocking more of these in the future. And then we've got a soundtrack with 4 different songs on it. Only the first one is unlocked thus far. I need to get a score of 100 to be able to get to the next one. I've gotten a score of 16, so I'm not quite on my way just yet. And then there's an autopilot mode if you get a score of 1500. And when you see the game, well, you'll understand what autopilot's all about. And it's got to be quite a trippy screensaver, I must say. So let's give it a run, see how it goes, and I will explain as we go. Although, again, not super complex. So this spinning thing that's going along to the beat is a square full of rectangles. Those rectangles are full of rectangles. We can go through these. Okay, so that's for the extra bonus points. I don't think we're required to hit them, but we can. And that'll be able to give us a faster increasing score. So that's probably a way that we would have a chance at possibly getting a much larger score to satisfy some of those victory conditions that you were seeing before. It's quite an effect, though, looking at this and knowing that it's never going to end. Although I do notice that there is a point where it seems like the next round of boxes seems to appear, and it's sort of like an obvious, sort of maybe slightly disjointed transition, although I think it's pretty close to smooth. It would be really nice if it was like absolutely indistinguishable that you reach that point. Oh, Okay, I screwed up. I wasn't able to see where the next one was going to be. So that's the base-most way that you play this game, but if you want to introduce a mouse click into the whole thing, well then things start to get a little bit wacky and wild, so let's try that. All of a sudden, it gets a little bit fast, and I think that's the desired way to play this game. You want to be going as fast as you possibly can. If you'll pardon my English there, you want to be headed downward as quickly as possible, and it's definitely a whole new level of speed when you're trying to very quickly keep your cursor pointed on one of these boxes. I think I actually made it to that one, but then I kind of lost my direction as I got further down. It's very difficult to keep yourself centered and still be looking for all of these colors, and you know, they do a good job of separating the background from the foreground in that you can see them pretty quickly, but it's still quite a challenge to be able to keep yourself going and watch as the things pulse to the music and still turn, and still you're trying to center where your viewpoint is, and yeah, and then it's quite fast on top of it. So, you know, all things considered, a very simple premise, but execution is quite well done. It's the type of thing that you could get very easily addicted to. I could see myself easily playing this for quite a while. I do wish there was maybe a little bit more to do in it. I mean, other than just this mission, it seems like it would be the type of thing that would be ripe for all kinds of crazy effects and transitions to happen as you reach a certain point in it. And that's, I think, where the Super Hexagon metaphor seems to fall away a little bit, although it does seem to be getting even faster as we head down past the 50 mark on this one. It is, yeah, this is quite a challenge, and it's actually tasking me to the full limits of my mental capacity to try and concentrate on these and keep my cursor going. There's enough variety and enough transitions and ways that this is going that it's like, it's really taking all my concentration. I can't believe I've actually gotten almost to 100 now. Ah! Oh my god, I actually lived through that. I didn't think I was going to make it. I made it to 100! I'm probably going to unlock something now, and I'm not using the speed up either, so I could have made this much, much faster. So if you're the type of person that enjoys something like this, very fast-paced, dexterity-driven, and very visually kind of trippy game, I think you'll have quite a bit of fun with Into the Box, and I am definitely myself, and seriously, give it a try. It's really tough. I lost. Okay. It's like, there's no sort of ceremony for you as you fail. It's just sort of like, oh, well, that's the end of that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say. It's a very simple premise. Like I said, I don't really have to go into too much more detail, because what else is there? Did I unlock? Oh, I unlocked the next rank of bonus rings, and the one after that, I guess. So I suppose I could get even more rings now? Is that how that's going to work? And just increase my score even more. So maybe it's like a Rogue Legacy style thing where as you unlock more, you have a higher chance of unlocking more and more and more, and the score just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and things sort of spiral out of control until all of a sudden, with a similar amount of skill, you might be capable of unlocking the 1500 ranking or something if you have a particularly good run, although I still think that's a ways away from me. And it does a good job of speeding up the gameplay in the early game in case you found yourself rather bored by the beginning progression. I also have to say I'm rather curious what's going to happen to continue to mix up the formula as you get further into things. If they start to throw other wild cards at you as things get even wilder and faster, and I wonder if it maybe even transitions or changes soundtrack options as you get further in. What did I actually did unlock the second one? What's the third one required? 350, so that's the next score to shoot for, and this one is 200. So I think that's probably fairly attainable. The top one is 500, and then that's most of the way there to the autopilot. So I guess you just 3 times that and get that, and then the highest score soundtrack is 750. So there's actually little rewards along the way. Too bad there's not online leaderboards. I could also see that being a fairly easy factor to drive people forward to playing even more. So that is Into the Box. Go check it out. It is totally free. You can play it right in your browser. I think there's even an Android version if you're into it that you can play on your phone. I think that might be a good time too, as long as the controls hold up, and I think they might. Although I guess I don't really have a lot to contrast that against since I'm only using my mouse, but the mouse controls work just fine. So if we could just take the mouse concept and just have it work to a fairly accurately mapped like accelerometer thing, whereas you tilt the thing in one direction or another, it just sort of gradually introduces a little bit of acceleration, whatever direction you're tilting it in, I think that could work okay, as long as it's not too sensitive, and as long as the game is sort of curved to be balanced in that direction, if that makes sense. So, go check it out. Again, links in the description. Let me know what your high scores are if you were able to unlock that autopilot mode, because that seems like quite a challenge. And of course, if you have any comments, let me know what you think might make this even a better game than it is now, or if there was anything in particular that you found frustrating or bugged you, let me know that in the comments as well, because I'm curious your opinions as always. So with that, I will leave you for another day. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. I will be back again with another one tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day, so if you're enjoying what you find on this channel, consider subscribing, and you'll get a new artistic, original, or unique indie game every single day. So look forward to seeing you again for another one tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you then. Have a great night, everybody.